What is freedom of speech and freedom of expression in the true sense, and what are their thresholds as a citizen of India? And people are reacting violently to a joke, very hypocritical. Is this the reason why the main problems in India don't get addressed? Do you think freedom of speech is a myth in India? Do you think we may never have a show that pushes the barrier of comedy limits set by Indian people? What is freedom of speech? It's the right, theoretical right to express yourself and say exactly what you want without censoring yourself in public. That's freedom of speech and freedom of expression in the true sense. What are the limits, the thresholds of freedom of speech in India? I think the constitution and laws put some limits. You cannot offend, you cannot say things against religion, you cannot say things against certain eminent personalities, whoever they are, I will not name them, and other things like that. So there are legal limitations on your freedom of speech, and then there are other restrictions on freedom of speech. So if you say derogatory things against certain religions, you're going to have your head chopped off in India, and the law will do nothing about it. There is that. So there are multiple, limitations and limitations and thresholds, or whatever you want to call it, on restrictions on freedom of speech. You can only abuse Hinduism in India. That's perfectly fine. But if you abuse any other religion, you're gonna be in deep trouble. So there is that. And look, so it doesn't mean that India is bad and the US, let's say, or Europe is better. EU. In the EU, they are arresting people for social media posts right now. It is like going back to the days of fascism or 1984, the novel, and in the US during Biden's time, you could be banned from Twitter and all social media for having the wrong opinions about politics and the coronavirus and all that. You would have seen my older Ask Abhijit's live streams. Wherever I have mentioned the word COVID or coronavirus, they put a big disclaimer below the video and so on. So there are limitations on freedom of speech everywhere. And at the end of the day, even if a nation theoretically gives you complete freedom of speech, there is no free speech without consequences. You may be allowed to say whatever you want, but it doesn't mean there will be no consequences. So such is the way things are in the world. Why do lots of problems in India do not get addressed? Is it because of lack of freedom of speech? No, it's because of other systemic issues, which we can discuss at in a different way.